There's a completely untapped OFM market. I'm gonna make it quick. I'm essentially just gonna show you an experiment that we run over the last 8 months and how you can essentially get 20-30% more subs by running this market. Now, quick backstory, I don't want to bore you guys too much, but I thought that would be interesting for this group specifically because you guys know how to work with data and what to do with it. I don't have to baby step you through the entire way. Long story short, I met this guy at an event in Warsaw, some business event, super boring. And there was nothing special about him. He was the most boring person to talk to. And yes, I say that after having been to OFM meetups. Now, anyway, what he did, nothing to do with the web industry. He ran some marketing funnels for some shitty product, like e-com marketing type of guy, okay? Thing is, while it was monumentally boring to talk to the guy, he did one thing that sparked my eye where I was like, okay, fuck, this is actually smart. And that was essentially what he does is in order to promote this kind of product, he was building 5 marketing pages per country. And I mean, per country. I don't mean just, oh, America, Germany, and France. No, per country. All right. This guy had a whole network of accounts that were consistently being translated into every single country that has some form of running water and any form of GDP, right? AKA any country where you don't shit on the street, he was marketing in. Now, to get to the point, the ones that did pop, right? He just did one piece of content into all the different countries. And the ones that did blow up, the accounts that did grow, he gave them a separate marketing funnel. He's translated the link me, put it on a separate website, just on the language, kind of put some UGC creator in the language on there and started promoting. And essentially 20x'd his market cap for the audience he has, right? Instead of just marketing to Germany or just marketing to France, now it's 20 times the audience that he can market to. And it's running super low effort because in the end, translating a couple of posts ain't that hard. The hard shit is the back end and the funnel, as we know. So I found that particularly interesting. I think most of us have heard of some hybrid guys doing certain countries, but I wanted to go one step further. So I tested that and it went surprisingly well, right? I implemented that in the agency who ran that experiment. And we essentially figured out a method on how to blast our creators into 10 different countries with up to little to zero effort on my personal end. Right? Yeah, you're gonna spend like $1,000 on VAs or whatever, but the ROI was always there. It finances itself. So I will share that. Just stick with me for a while. Okay. So let me run you through personally what I've seen in different OFM markets. Right? You got the US market, obviously. You got the, let's say, this is the American OFM market. Okay. This year is Germany. This year is France. Then we go bottom tier, maybe Italy, maybe Poland, right? But the last row, basically non-existent. Thing is, with the competition that you have in the US market, let's say your specific creator is able to get this much market share, if you market it successfully, right? I'm gonna draw that beautifully. But this is the market share you can get in the US, right? Because it's hyper competitive. Obviously, you can go higher, yada, yada. But realistically, German market also getting very competitive. You can get a bit more if you're German speaking, cool. But still getting very hard. French market, okay, cool. You can already kind of, if you build a big creator, this is the kind of market share you can get out of 100 subscribers, right? Then Polish market, Italian market, you can get up to half market share. This is made up numbers, but you see the point. They're way less competitive and there's no middle of funnel. There's hyper famous creators in Italy, Poland, right? Hyper famous creators and super unknown ones. The middle isn't really filled. So I know guys that do like wheelchair content, etc. So not only is the market cap way higher, also the quality of the videos, right? If this is like our video quality scale, let's say the US, this is like the quality of the video, right? The US is like 8 out of 10 most of the time. Like the amount of content you see in the US is super high level. Hooks, retainers, all the shit I talked about in the last group call, right? Germany is kind of here. Germany is getting better. It's more like meme-based content for those of you who are in there. But especially like Italy, Poland, France, the content is so bottom tier that implementing the same marketing shit you already use for the US, you get a large advantage and have way higher leverage. Even the famous creators do shit content. To my fellow Italians, to my fellow Polish people, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So not only is it way less competitive, but also the same amount of content you do in the US works way better there. You have to adapt to the culture. But that's obviously, I think that makes sense. There's a reason to go into these markets. Now, obviously, here's the big no-no that most people talk about when it's going into the Polish, Italian market, especially the bottom tier countries, right? Everyone says Italians are broke, Polish people are broke. I'm living here, all right? And they are, in fact, broke. What people don't talk about is while you have less, let's say you have less, let me draw a whale, right? This is the whale. You can see him because he's smiling. This is not a good smile. And he has a lot of money. This is the average whale. You will have less of that. But what you have are the average subs. And the average subs, they're really not that broke. They really aren't. Okay, Polish people, definitely. Lower income, right? Most people here, they ain't balling unless they're like entrepreneurs or mafia. But they still spend money on video games, they spend money on Uber Eats, on dates with their girlfriend, on clothes, right? Going out to the bar. They still spend money on all of these things, meaning 90% of all the Polish subscribers you're gonna get, unless they're fucking divorced middle-aged dads who have to pay ransom to their child, they will always have, let's say, 200 to 400 bucks they will spend on OF per month. At least they can. The money's there. They can just go out to the bar 2 times less per month. They don't order the new sneakers and they don't buy Battlefield 6. They have that money. If they don't spend that with you, most of the time that's a system issue. Of course, the money is harder to spend for them. They are much more hesitant. But on the other hand, the selling systems that worked in the US 3 years ago, they work here because they're less experienced, they're not sub to 20 creators. So they are more stingy, but also you can make them spend money more easily. It equals each other out. For everyone who's been in the German market in recent years, it's exactly what happened there. The German market here, this one I'm talking about, was so fire because nobody knew all the scripts. Nobody knew mass messages, right? So you got more money per lead. You got a higher lifetime value.